Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be going down into the depths of episode 3 of our Kentum playthrough. The depths are a little bit dangerous. There's a couple of enemies that can really mess you up if you're not paying attention. Those floaty things you see on there, yeah, I tried hitting it, doesn't work. It's a hook point and we don't have the hook yet, so we'll hold tight. So here in the depths there's a new plant called liquid bulb. I called them hydropods for some reason. And those are important to start collecting, as well as these small gels. There's a couple of new things to pick up besides that. There's also a gland that you can get from these creatures that you see on your screen. The ones that have an electrified back, if you touch them, they hurt you. The other ones don't. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. You'll see that to be a common occurrence in this playthrough. You saw that squelching sound. It's a liquid that kind of slows you down when it touches you, so be careful. You'll see it on your hotbar. It's not the end of the world or anything like that, but it can wreak a little bit of havoc on you. I think that was one of those floating creatures that comes after you, but that was stuck in the ceiling. But I don't know. I couldn't really skip it, so I just decided to move on. The next big piece, I guess, of this area is where actually a boss appears, a giant electrified boss. I don't know why it didn't appear to me. I guess it only appears after you unlock the room in the monolith, maybe? I'm not sure. But anyway, a giant boss here appears usually. That's it's not difficult, but I died more than a couple of times to it in my playthrough. The other big thing to realize in this area is that there's an end to it. I know it sounds silly saying it like that, but we entered through one side and now we're gonna go. You can keep going and you come out the other side. However, I was starting to get low on inventory space, and really my goal from coming in here was to grab some of the slime, grab some of the bulbs, and then come to this area. Because then you're going to see your first glance of this enemy right here, which is a flying enemy. That flying enemy charges at you when it has a horn. That one didn't have a horn. And they can do a considerable amount of damage. So I said, you know what, let's just go back. I've already picked up a bunch of materials that I know I'm going to need, which is the slimes and the electrified glands. And you might be saying, well, why is he picking that stuff up now? Well, that's because my next, the next thing I'm going to take you through is going to get a staff upgrade that you can get now. The other thing I'm going to start doing is I need to start making the ingot, right? So I need the kiln because the cold baron, funny joke. So I got my materials to make the kiln. The kiln makes charcoal from wood saplings, which then uses the ore to make the ingots. Then the also piece I'm also going to start making is I need to get ready for building the ingots. So right now at this moment I can start making the charcoal, but I need to unlock the foundry, which allows me to make the ingots, right? So it's sequential, it is what it is, but at the same time I also have to be constantly making the cognitive fluid type A, because as you saw, some of the upgrades take 10 or 15 of the fluids in order to unlock. So that means I want to get a good amount of coffee plants going, at least 3. 2 is fine, 3 is better, so that I can go ahead and start creating what I need to create. So now I said, okay, fine, what's next? You have here, you can upgrade all these things. You can see there from down to smelting to the other one. Well, I don't need anything else at the moment except I need to make my ingots. My ingots is not concoctions. My ingots is smelting tech. That's the one. So that's the one you need to really unlock first if you're going to want to continue to progress the story. If you don't care, then unlock whatever you want. Watch the top bar while I sleep. Time goes on while you sleep. It doesn't stay it doesn't just like, oh, you got healed. No, it takes time. You sleep, you go forward in time keep that in mind if you're near the end of the season, because it'll change the season while you're asleep. So there you go. Got my my foundry ready to go to start making my ingots. So then all I need now is ore and charcoal. So, and I've already been doing that prior to it. So there's other tech I can potentially unlock. Here it's up to you. The next step of our journey really is to go back to the monolith and unlock the whole upgrade system with the monolith, which required that ingot.
Now that we've established a baseline of available technology, we can properly initiate Project Morning Rise.
That's what Orb's saying, right?
The grand plan to reboot humanity. Sounds totally manageable for one guy with a stick.
Correction, one guy with an enhanced staff. To begin, we must open the infrastructure room door, the first humankind technology required to set the process in motion.
Alright, but before we do that, we are going to go and do some upgrading and collecting of materials, and we're going to go upgrade our staff as well. So you can see I need that charcoal. There's a charcoal twig and stuff. You require 3 twigs to make a charcoal, and 1 charcoal plus ore to make the ingot. So I want to do that, but before I do that, I'm going. I wanted to see, okay, well, what we need to upgrade the staff, I know that. And we also said, well, I need to go get some food. I need to go grab some food and just make sure that I'm well stocked for what's coming up, which is, every time you go out to adventure, you want to make sure you're stocking up. And there's a couple of more things that I wanted to grab, which was these particular bananas and these animals. I wanted to see, okay, well, what's over here? What's spawned, right? I need to make sure I just grab everything I can because the meat's important. And I need to make sure that I grab everything that appears in this particular little area because I can't really go anywhere except because I need an upgrade to my staff. So yeah, I grabbed what I could and then I headed back. I still strongly suggest that whenever you can, just pick up stuff along the way. If you have space in your inventory, we already expanded our inventory because that's one of the things we did in the first couple of episodes, which was important. And you can see I'm ignoring everything right now because I have a goal in mind, which is to go and upgrade my staff. So I could be hitting all these little things, but since right now I don't need the animal skin, I don't need the meat, I have plenty of food, and it's just gonna burden me, I'd rather just forego it. So here we went to the right last time, now we're going to the left, and going to the left opens up a brand new area, and you can go ahead and scan whatever you need to scan. It's another one of these underground areas that has the electrified lizards and other stuff that we saw in the beginning of the video. So just keep going. This upgrade is kind of easy to miss if you're not in exploration mode, and what I mean by that is, I know some folks play the games very linear, A, B, C, and they don't bother to explore even a tiny bit of the surroundings. But we had that happen with one of our games, Mirthwood, where folks just always wanted to stick to the script, and I'm like, God, a walkthrough's not the same as a script. A script to me is just, you don't want to deviate from anything, and all you had to do was just grab onto the ledge and jump up, and you'd find this item, and you can scan it.
This looks like it might be related to the monolith.
And there it is.
You think this mini-monolith that looks exactly like the technology inside the bigger monolith have something in common?
Yeah,
The sarcasm
I actually
is
do.
so good in this game.
What can you tell me about it?
The energy emanating from this stone is pulsating in a repeating pattern. If I translate that to binary, I can synthesize a blueprint from it.
A blueprint of what?
New technology. We can build it back in the base.
Alright, so now we have Dash. And you can see there, it automatically put the recipe in my on my right hand side, and haha, I already have the electrical glands, and I already have the squishy jello. Now, yeah, probably could have done without having gone to the other area to farm, because in this area there were some of those materials that I needed to craft it, but I'd rather get more than I needed. those birds, I wanted to show you. Those birds, if you hit one and there's any near the vicinity, they all come after you. Careful is all I'm saying. They're tanky. You saw they took a pretty big hit from my staff, like a charged up hit, and it only took them down to took down like a quarter of their health. So keep that in mind. I'm sure if you're watching this episode 3, you've tried to hit those birds already before, but if you haven't, keep an eye out, especially if they're friends along. All right, so we have our staff upgrade. I'm going to go ahead and make some food. Remember, shift click makes you eat the food, which is hilarious. So there's my dash. I'm going to go ahead and unlock it. I might as well just talk about this now. You have to press the shift key on the keyboard. I had to disable sticky keys on my Windows machine because I was pressing shift so quickly that sticky keys became enabled, and I think somewhere along this playthrough you're going to start hearing the beeping sound on it. It actually got me killed. So that was annoying, and I tried to disable sticky keys. Well, I did it, and then it still kept messing up. So eventually I switched to my controller because I just couldn't handle the sticky key situation anymore. It was annoying. So however you want to deal with that, you deal with that. But I thought I should mention that now because, yeah, you're going to be dashing all over the place. It makes traversing the areas much quicker until you get the hoverboard, and that makes it quicker too, and you don't need to do it as much. But when you're battling, knowing when to press shift and attack becomes really important. You can dash into an attack or dash into a heavy attack, and you can dash in midair as many times as you can So I can jump and I can dash continuously. There's a little delay, but you can do that. So just keep that in mind is what I'm saying. Sticky keys can cause a problem. It disables what you're trying to press. So you have your shift key disabled and you're trying to dash all over the place and you're getting bombarded by electrical current, then you'll die, and all the stuff that you have on you will just be gone, and yeah, it's a pain in the butt. So short story long, if you can disable your sticky keys and not have shift activate them, then go ahead and do that. If you can, then you can't get a controller, and that kind of solves the problem. When I started playing the controller, I started realizing I guess it is kind of better-ish a little bit. I know. Anyway, so now the next piece that we have to focus on, you can see what I'm looking here is the amount of cognitive fluid you need. So you can unlock your staff upgrades, which again, the bigger one there are the hoverboard and the vacuum. The vacuum allows you to pick up multiple items at once, so it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. And the hoverboard, you really don't have to make it now because you need compost to power it, and you don't have that yet. You need 10 cognitive fluid to make the composter. So, you do you. But now you have dash, so dash helps you move a little bit better. So now dash actually unlocks more of the game. You can get to certain areas that you couldn't before because the gap was too wide. And now you can dash across them and get to other areas of the game that maybe you've explored without following this playthrough. Just keep that in mind and test it out. Alright, so now we're ready to open the infrastructure control room, but I'm missing limestone. So I have stone and I have the ingot, but I don't have limestone. So off I go and search for limestone. So, yeah, sometimes you can find limestone in the overworld, but most of the time, if you can't find what you're looking for, you're going to have to go a little bit deep. So, remember when I told you guys in the beginning of this video that the underground cave has an exit? Well, I decided might as well go get the exit now and unlock another fast travel point. The game doesn't tell you that, but I might as well just, go through it now. It makes sense. It made sense to me to go through it, and I thought, there's not going to be the boss is not going to be here because I didn't find it the first time, and so it shouldn't be here the second time. That was my logic. The issue was I ran into an enemy. I did run into an enemy, which is one of those floating thingies. I'm going to show it to you right now. So those floating enemies are actually not that hard to kill, but they swarm. And when they swarm, they become really hard to kill. They're a proximity-based enemy. So whenever you get close enough to it, it discharges electricity similar to the volt mushroom. So you have to be careful not to get too close, it's going to get hit. These things, however, drop plant fiber. Do not forget that. This is the first time you've seen plant fiber, and they're a very important source of plant fiber because that's needed for the next part of the crafting tree. So, again, keep that in mind. Killing them is not the worst thing. See, there's that discharge. So come on,
take caution.
That's ridiculous. You can only take 2 hits and that's it. You die. So imagine a swarm of those, 3 or 4 of those, with a boss that's there. Craziness. You see my meat is about to spoil. Phrasing, I guess. But I said, what do I do? You know what? I'm going to let it spoil. You might be going, wait, you can just cook that. I was like, yeah, but I can just get more meat. Spoiled food, don't throw it away. Keep it. It doesn't spoil anymore. It doesn't it doesn't disintegrate. So that spoiled food, once I build the composter, I can make compost. So that way you don't waste things, right? So keep going. I decided not to fight the thing. There's these jellies. I think these jellies are amazing. They bounce. They're just fun. You can't do anything else with them. At least I haven't found anything else to do with them. You use them to get from one area to the next. The damn electrical thing followed me. So I said, that's cool. But 2 smashes and they're done. Which is fun. You can't see, I can't get to the next area. I cannot get over there. It's impossible. Because I need that hook. So, you can't do anything, that's fine, don't worry about it. Just keep going to the right. And as you keep going to the right, you're going to find your first barley. So, barley is the next part of your crafting tree. It's going to be very necessary to craft a whole bunch of other stuff. So, if you get a seed drop from that pickup, I would advise you strongly to start planting barley, start growing it. It's similar to the coffee plant. You're going to need the same amount, right? So you see, I can't really use this either. It helps you go updraft. It helps you go up. And so I can't do that. But I could go to the right, but I said never mind. I'd rather go up. And these little updrafts, you can't use them. You need to unlock the next step of mobility. But going up puts you in a position to find the next warp point, which is right here. This one gets you back home, or it gets you to the monolith, which is where I headed. So if you've noticed, there's a little loop you can do, right? You can head back to the base, go from here, go underground, go underneath, go all the way to the right, come out the other side, go back to the base, etc., etc. Now I have enough to unlock the infrastructure room. So the infrastructure room is our next, big unlock of things, and you're gonna see we're gonna do all this right now. Once we can also unlock the agricultural and sustenance because we've been smart and made more than ingots that we need, and we remember we have an electrical mushroom cap farm as well, so we have enough to do both of those unlocks right now. We do not have the duranium sheet. That's the next step, and that requires that barley we found, so forget about it for now. So this next part is going to the room that we unlocked, and I'll shut up so this guy can talk.
History will recognize this room as the place where the road to civilization began.
The road is looking dusty and cobwebby.
My screen gazes into the future, not the spider-ridden present. Now pay attention. In this room, you will find your next objectives.
Which are...
I will let a very good friend of mine explain it. Step inside and find out.
All of these rooms require you to talk to one of these robots.
Greetings, I am Nutty, the infrastructure room's assistant. I see you are trying to kickstart humanity. Would you like some help?
This is hell. I died, and now I am atoning for my sins.
Let us get atoning then. The machine next to me collects items that are vital to start a new civilization. Please deposit materials that can be used to build infrastructures. These materials can be any type of ore, twig, space debris, ingot, coal, clay, even glue and animal skin.
So, now I've become a courier, just to collect things and bring them here.
Of course not. I would use the term mule. Happy gathering.
So after you talk to the robots, you have to go into the box, and it tells you kind of, hey, look what you have on you, right? And how much it would fill up. So remember those plant fibers we collected? Those are a pretty good source of materials. So I have them. I might as well just use. I'm gonna need to deposit them anyway. And once you deposit them, they're gone. So just keep that in mind. Fibers are a good source for that. Stone, all the other things. They all have a little icon on them. You see on the icon on the left that says Intro Hullabaloos, which is actually kind of funny. That little blue icon, the items. There's the key, the sticky key. You hear it? That's what happened to me. I was dashing around, and the sticky key was annoying the crap out of me. And I couldn't dash anymore. And I just said, ugh, you know what?
This is the agriculture room.
The only way to correct this is
The
to actually close
technology
the
in
game
this
out
room will
and come
enable
back
the
in
future
it,
of mankind to be
or to
self-sustainable.
control a tab out of it, and then control tab in, and that fixes the problem.
Will this be another room
But
with
they
a
don't want
box?
to do that
Lucky
because
for
it was
you,
because it was
there is a friend
recording,
inside
and
that can give you an answer.
I was going to be done anyway.
You already did.
Howdy, I'm Rural Rory, your trusty robot partner.
You see, Orb? A cowboy accent. Finally, someone is having some fun.
Appreciate the compliment, sir. Now, look over yonder. Y'all see that big cube-like thing? That's where you'll deposit seeds. We need all the seeds we can get in order to start building some farms.
So I need to bring a seed from every plant I find?
Nope, just a bunch of seeds from any plant will do the trick.
But wait, how does that help? We can't feed people if I just bring you 100 seeds from the same plant.
We gonna have trouble, partner? Cock's gun.
Did you just say Cock's gun?
This is
You
one of
better
the
do what they say,
funnier
Kent.
interactions I think I
Rory's
had in this
always
game.
been a loose cannon.
Unbelievable. Fine, I'll bring seeds to the machine.
Yep, you bring the seeds.
Mighty fine, my yellow-bellied friend. They are called
So
the
you have the
OS.
seed maker, right? Via con the OS. I'm sorry, that's hilarious. So you have this. You have a couple. Have a seed, but look, it gives you 5, which is pretty nice. You also have a seed maker back home that you can do. The only problem is all the plants you're currently collecting, you need them for cognitive fluid type A or for anything else. So there's that. You could potentially do saplings, plant those and get seeds that way. Short story long, there is no easy solution. The problem is those seeds are important because they help you increase your yield of your farms, or they help decrease the amount of water the plants take, and that becomes important for automation. So it really behooves you to start collecting the materials you need now for both of those things to unlock that first tier. To unlock you're basically unlocking the module. So you do it is my suggestion right now. You've unlocked pretty much everything else you need for the most part. There's that malted barley I was talking about. You're gonna need that. Just don't start making it yet. And you can start making seeds from here. If you've unlocked most of this, if you've been following along, you should have been unlocking most of the stuff you need. So now is a really good time to start using those berries to start making a whole bunch of those coffee cherries to start making a whole bunch of seeds. It's a good time to do it. Just do it, get out of the way, because it's a lot of seeds you have to collect. And don't do the composter. You don't need it. You don't really need the brewery at the moment. But we have enough to unlock the Rocco and the vacuum. The Rocco needs the composter. The hollow shield is for blocking physical attacks. up to you if you want to do it. I don't really need it. I think the problem is electrical tracks, and that doesn't block it. So you know, but the vacuum's really helpful because it just picks up everything all at once, which is kind of nice. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for today. We're gonna go ahead and just get things ready to go, water plants, etc., etc. And so there's that damn sticky key again. We'll keep going on episode 4 next time around. I hope you've been enjoying the game. I've been having a blast. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun discovering. The dialogue is great. And if you use a controller, you go bypass that stupid sticky key issue. So, alright, have a good one, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.